So about the investing strategy. So let's go to stocks. There is no, mm there is not any identified method or no any strategy that can completely help us to get good investment company, to make good investment, to get good returns in the competition. So for now, those who have scored very high point, they have simply memorized the numbers and prices, and they're investing on that in the next game, and that's the reason why they have achieved so good score. And in the real game, the numbers will be completely different. So we just have to know, we just have to make some plan about what we will do in the real competition, and making such plan can help us get good score. Okay, so for that I will highly recommend to use this graph. Okay, so graph will be the indicator for you to invest, to identify the company in which you have to invest. So in the real game, I think there will be less companies than it is now here. So right now there are more than 10 companies here. In real game, I think there are little less. Okay, so there were little less, and you can also look at this market news and investment news. I think there will be more here. Uh, the more information is just this graph. So if it's in the falling trend, okay, so if it's falling and it's falling by more number, for example, now its price is 22, then it falls to like 19, then it falls to maybe 15, then that means it's falling at greater rate, then we should not buy it. That's what I think. If it's falling, but it's falling with less price, if it's falling with like 22, it's falling to maybe 18, then it's falling to 17, then it's like 17, then it's like 16.5, then it's like 16.1. So it looks like after 16.1, there's a trend of increasing, like 16.5, then again the price will become 17, then the price will become 19, 20, and it will again be like its original price. So what I'm basically recommending is to use the idea of parabola. If you know parabola, okay. If you do not, then simply you can ignore this one. If it's like the U-shape graph, U-shape parabola, so it will fall to its minimum level, then it will rise. So it's like U-shape. If it's going to be like U-shape, just imagine like if it's going to be like U-shape, then it's highly recommended to buy after the minimum point is passed, or just as you think the minimum point is going to be this, or after the minimum point gets passed. Minimum point, after you find a minimum point and it is like it gets rise by some prices, okay, like by 1 rupees or 2 rupees, then you may buy it. And if it's like bent U-shape or inverse U-shape, then there will be a maximum point. Okay, so after that maximum point it will begin falling. So what I would recommend is to sell the price, to sell the stock of that company which is going to have high price, okay, and is it going to a maximum price, that's like this point, it's 22 rupees, $22. After that it has fallen, right, to $21. Now you could sell at this point, like $21 you may sell it. Suppose you have purchased it at $17, it is rising, it is rising, it is rising, it's the maximum point. After this is maximum point, right? After that it has fallen to $21. You could sell here. Well, the price has rise later by $1 more, but you are at profit, like you bought it 17 and you sold it like 21. Okay, so you are having profit, there is no any losses here. You could have a greater profit if you had sold here, and you could have greater profit if you had sold later, but you could just simply sell here to just have the safety. Okay, so that's basically how I'm telling. So if I will have sold or bought, I will have bought somewhere here, I will have sold somewhere here or here. Okay, sell after the minimum point is passed. If it's the lowest price of the company, After that, if it has rise by some point, some price, buy it, and there is a maximum price. Okay, after the maximum price it has fallen by some dollar, then sell it. That's the that's something I'll say. But it's not possible to do for all these companies time and again in each turn. So basically just speculate on different companies, just or go randomly, or alternatively just make some plan. You could now analyze the graph of these companies in the demo game, and there might be some little changes, not very huge changes. Well, there are some changes, like the price will get rise by a big amount for some companies in now, but in this game the prices are not fluctuating by big value. But in the real game, when I was playing in IEO, the values were changing very uh, unpredictably. So in stock as well as in bond, as well as in indices, in everywhere. So the prices of some companies were changing greatly. They were increasing very unimaginable value. So that's what I'll recommend there. In bonds, also the buying and selling strategy will be the same. Well, here you can take the tenure, like 2 years or 5 years. I will not recommend you to take the bond of greater number of years. Just take like 2 or 5. Uh, okay, so that's what I will recommend. Then you can see this Muganda right here. So in this Muganda, I think Muganda's value will fall after some year, or I think this last one, I can pronounce his name correctly. So this last one is market news or investment news says that the company is in great debt and it will collapse after the news get flashed in this part. So that's the only one news that I have seen ever in this whole demo game. Otherwise, the news is not provided in the other stocks, bonds, or indices. And you can see the graph here is constant, so there is a chance that it will remain constant, but there is also a chance that it will rise and fall. So I'd highly recommend to take the less 10 years, like 2 years, 5 years. But just look here, look at this is also 2 years, this one is also 2 years, but the interest is just 0.5 and its interest is 3.29. So, and one thing about bond, you cannot sell. If you sell before 2 years before the maturation date, that means you will going to have some disadvantage. The money that you will get will you that money will have some charges applied, so you will get a reduced amount of money. So just be careful. That's the reason why I said buying less shares is more um, advantageous, more beneficial. Suppose the price gets fall after 5th year and you have bought 10th years maturation date, that means you are going to face great loss after 6th, 7th, and 8th turn if it doesn't rise, right? So that's the reason why I said 2 and 5 years. But just check between 2 and 5 years to which one provides greater interest rate, and check a little bit about its what was its prices before 1 or 2 turns or 3 turns, 4 turns. Okay, so this will be very advantageous. If you buy now, there is a chance that it will rise, and it's 5 years and it has good percent interest rate. So I will have bought this. That's it. Then going to indices. Okay, indices are um, quite beneficial. I mean, they are more profitable. You can see these are all low risks and they have increased over the time. Okay, so they have increased over time. They get increased over time. They will rise. They will fall in between, but again they will get rise. So if you buy at the lowest price, then it's worth buying. So you will not get any interest rate in buying, simply buying the indices. If its price gets rise, your capital will increase, and if its price gets fall, your capital will decrease. That's all. But in bond, you are getting some interest, right? After the maturation date, you will get the some money, principal money, and you will also get the interest rate. And this is commodities. There is great fluctuation, I think, in oil and coffee. Similarly, gold and silver prices are also fluctuating. Gold is quite stable, I guess. That's what I think, but I don't know. This is completely unpredictable. That's what we have known by until now. And then about ETF and on index, there is an important graph here. The you can if you know about the concept of tangent, okay, slope or the rate of increase at each point is given just below here. So I will recommend like if this graph is at something like this point, you can buy it. At this point you can buy it. If you see this graph, the graph below here, if this graph is below this straight line, you can buy that, okay. And if this graph is above this line, for example at this point or at this points, okay, this points, it's good to sell. That's how I think, yeah, you can analyze, because you can see at this point the price is maximum, highest price. So if you sell there, you will be advantage, will have advantage. And this point you can see its price is lowest, right? So at this point you can buy at low price, sell at high price. That's how you can earn profit. And you are also given dividend here, so this one is quite good. You will also get money like $6.26, and the other one doesn't provide any dividend, so the other are like similar to indices and commodities, which just from where you can only earn profit if you are selling at good at high price, and you will have profit when you're when there is high prices, and even if you are not selling it, your capital is high, so that will eventually provide you higher points. Then moving to crypto is also fluctuating, is similar to how you are investing in indices and commodities. So in banking, you can see there are credit and education loan. They are very expensive. I do not recommend taking them. But when you are pursuing MBA, the credit will be imposed in you automatically, so you will not have any option. But it will be less than the loan. I think even it's like 6.25%. I think let's take that later, or let's take right now. I'll purchase the MBA. So let's see what will be the in that the loan that I have to take. What is MBA? MBA will increase the income. So MBA program is right here. To purchase it, it will cost like $2,033. Okay, and it has said that there is 2 years educational program. Apart from the initial payment of 5,000, you will be billed of two payments of $10,000 each year. So that's the big sum. For these additional payments, education loan is automatically applied. After getting this education, your salary will grow by 2 times in 5 years. After 5 years, in 5 years, my salary will be doubled, and I can do this only one times. Okay, so I have just bought that. Once bought, I am paying $2,000 plus I am also taking the loan of 10,000 and 10,000 in 2 consecutive years. Okay, if I do not take the loan in the next year, my education will not be continued. The amount that I have invested in the first year will be simply be disqualified. That amount will simply go in vain. So that's very important that we take risks. So when we are pursuing MBA, we need to be careful. So here's an event. This will simply say, provide the notification that, okay, this has simply provide the information that whether do you want to drop out from the university or do you want to take a loan and continue the study. So I'll say this, take a loan and continue, because I have already invested some amount. If I do not do that, I'll be dropping out of the university and I will be losing some money too. And I cannot rebuy the MBA. Yeah, I cannot redo the MBA too, because it can only be bought once. Okay, so now if I go to banking, I'll see some liabilities there. So there is a credit of 10,000 and this is 15,000, because there is the one-time payment 5,000 plus 10,000, right? So that's how. So there is interest of 6.25% here, and there is education loan of 6.5. I think this interest was taken from the prior terms. Okay, let's go ahead. And above the savings, you can create the savings because you have free cash of 5,000. You can simply create the saving here by inserting your number, how much you want to save, like $500, I'll say right now. Oh, sorry, $500, right? $500. Then how many years? Okay, so that means for how many years do you want to keep that money in the bank? After that year is passed, I mean after that turn is passed, year means turn, okay? So after the 5 turns, the money will come to your free cash directly. Until then, the money will remain in deposit, but you can take out the money if you want. It's good to keep the money at least in bank because you will get 1% interest rate. That's a good amount. But if you keep it in free cash, you will not get anything. So that 1% will be your opportunity cost. Okay, so that's the minimum that will be the minimum advantage that is minimum amount that you could have got, or you could have invested in stocks bond somewhere there from where you could have on more than 1%. But the dip, but that's not certain, right? It could increase or decrease. You could be in loss, you could be in profit. But in bank, there's 1% certainty. You could see keep some amount in the bank too for some years. This amount, was the automatic amount that was deposited from the income that you earned in this turn. Okay, at the beginning of this turn, how much money did you earn? Is 10% was saved there. So after this in turn, this money will go to your free cash. $637 will go to your free cash. And at the beginning of this turn, what's the salary? Is 10% will be deposited here. So it's $812. It looks like your income is actually increasing. It's because of something maybe. Okay. There are some information given here. You might have got some talk. I mean, some kinds of incentives in the in your by your, from the company. Okay, or something like that. You can go through this news too. Personal news or world news. You lost a mobile phone. That means um, it means like some part of your soul has died. That means you might have bought your new mobile phone and some money might have been spent there automatically. So these are the events which you cannot control, which the game has been controlling. And according to this, you might sometimes get rewards like the money you got at the beginning. That's is a gift. Sometimes you might lose money. So that's the part of the game. We just have to deal with that. So that's basically how you'll invest. So just be careful you are not investing so much of the time. Okay, so if you are taking some time to invest in the first or second or third turn, okay, then in the next two terms you may not have to do that. You might simply uh, go to some other part and invest your time. Okay, so just be careful about the time when you are investing and spending monies. Okay, that's how you can see. Then looking at services, I will just buy a few of the services. Here it is the professional educational development. Let me buy this program. Since I've already started my MBA program, I am paying some amount each turn. I am making a down payment of I think 250 or $150, something like that. You can just see them, go and check there in the banking. So you must have the money to pay for the loan. You must have the money to pay for the loan. If you do not have the money to pay for the loan, if you are not being able to pay the loan in any point, at any point of the game, you will be bankrupt. That's the very crucial part of the game. Suppose your total capital is, suppose here you can see that your total capital is 7,000 and you have free cash of 3,000, and in each turn you will be earning some amount of money. Through all that, you should be able to make the down payment of the loans. Okay, so what's down payment here? Tons left is 8 ton. In 8 tons, you should be able to pay this $8,453. Okay, so in each ton, you are paying $1,374. Okay, so that means you must have that amount in each ton. If you do not have that, that means you went bankrupt. You will go bankrupt and the game is over. So just be careful about that. That's the reason why if you have some amount of extra money, it is worth buying MBA. It's worth doing MBA. You will have some pressure for 5 tons or 6 tons or 7 tons, but after that your MBA degree will increase your money too, and you'll possibly be able to increase your income. But without doing MBA too, some of my friends were able to achieve good score. So without doing MBA too, you can like do very well in the game. Okay, so you can also do the MBA after the 10th ton or 15 ton when you had sufficient money to to buy from buying your publishing house by doing by increasing your income from the services. Okay, so you can have advantage in you can increase your money by investing in the financial markets, by increasing the money by using the other chip, one of them, and you can play the safe game, and eventually you can buy the MBA in like 15 ton, and you will get the increased income in the 20 ton, and then you can simply increase the point at the greater rate. Okay, so that will be the safest part, but some of them also do the MBA in like 10 to 11 12 ton, and they will eventually increase the money in 15 ton, and they will try to achieve greater point at 20, 21, 20, 20, 25 to 30. So just be careful, do not get getting bankrupt will be the worst part. You will not have any point in if you get bankrupt, so that's very important. One important part is here just turn action. If you click a turn action, you can do in game, which will simply in this game, and you will have no point. Do not do that. Reset actions mean I recently purchased something. Okay, I recently purchased the professional development program. If I do reset action, the everything that I have done in this turn, this particular turn, will be reset. Not in before turn before this. Okay, just in this turn, whatever I have done, I might have bought some stocks, I might have sold some indices that I had. So all those actions will be reversed, and I can just replay in this from the beginning of this turn only. So sometimes this could be advantages, like you might have want to undo some action, you can just come here and reset. Okay, that's what that's the important part of the. And other thing is like real estate, you can use mortgage to buy any houses you want. For example, if I want to buy this one, I can use mortgage here, but mortgage amount will be like um, this amount you can make the down payment here, and like yours you want this. Suppose this is I might be in 15 or 16, I cannot see it because of this icon blocking my screen. Okay, I might do like 20 tons, 20 years, and I want to do the payment of 21,000, 21,000. I'll just write here 18,000 because I have some money, right? I have 3,000, so 18,000 3,000 will be 21, and I have 500, means that I'll have something like 200 extra, so I can buy this. I may think that, but you can see here I cannot apply this transaction because the maximum down payment for this mortgage is 2130 only. That means my current income, my current assets, my current free hand cash will only allow me to take the money of 2130 as the mortgage. It will not allow more. So if you want to credit from the bank too, okay, if you want to take the credit here, so in order to identify what is the maximum amount you can take, you can simply put a greater number of value here. Just write down 9999999 and check it whether you can take or not. Continue. It will tell you cannot take because of some reason here. After this loan is a ratio, so it's the ratio of debt payment to the income you will be too high, so debt will be something like this, and it will be greater than 0.90. So the maximum amount I can take for this term is 0. So this is how you can know like how many amount you can take. Okay, so I can simply check in this way how much amount, what's the maximum amount that I can take. So This cannot happen because the term is larger than the maximum possible term for this instrument. Oh, okay, the term is maximum. So I'll just write down 15. So in this way you can just check this out. Let's don't spend more time here. Okay. So it's will be too high. 27,967.8 is greater than 0.90. So that's the maximum amount for this term is 0.00. You cannot take any credit for this term. Okay. So you can also buy some stocks and bonds by taking leverage. If you do not have money to buy, you can simply use leverage. Okay, I can at least afford 50. You apply only when like you have $500 here and you are purchasing something of 1,000. Okay, let's try this. Maybe let's make 500 is 10,000. Let's make 25 is 504 only. Okay, $5,045. I have 3,500. 3,500 will be deducted from my free cash, and the remaining amount will be taken as a loan. If I do buy, I think I can afford this, but I wouldn't recommend highly to do this because we are simply speculating in this investment, and taking loan to invest in our speculation will not be very worthy. We might face great loss. Okay, so my free cash went zero, and if you go into banking and if you check there will be leverage. Okay, so leverage is broker's loan leverage is 7%, and it's 1,455. I'm paying 7% interest. The bank is only offering me 1% interest actually, but I'm paying 7%. You can also do the payment here. Okay, if I have 1,000 rupees, I can just do the payment of 1,000 by tapping 1,000 here, 1,000, and just doing close. That means if I do this, my 1,000 will be reduced, and only $455 will be remaining to pay, or it will get paid in each turn. But I will not recommend doing that. Okay. So if I do in turn, I must have the money to pay for this turn, to pay the interest for this turn. Suppose the interest credit of my education loan, and there are two education loan there. So I must have the money to make the payment for these two education loan. So I must have now money of minus 2,447. So I must have this money. Okay, this amount of money must be there in my account, or I must sell my stocks, bonds, whatever is there, and make the free cash of $2,447. Only then I will be able to do intern. Okay, if I do intern here, you do not have enough money to finish this turn. Okay, so what I can do is like take the money off my deposit. Okay, one way is that. So I will have 1,500 here. That means now I still need 1,000 more. I have to sell the stocks, bonds, whatever I have. That's the other part. Okay, so you might have understood what we can do, what we cannot. And if we get stock in the loan, debt, credit, leverage, mortgage, we will be in great loss. So it's very recommended that you avoid interest, avoid credit whenever possible. Doing MBA is not bad at all, but do it when you like have a good income and when you are able to make the payment. Okay, so the price for the MBA will be almost same. I mean 10,000 and 10,000, and whatever you will be paying right now, whatever amount you are paying right now in each turn, same amount of money must be available to you in each turns, so that you can make the payment and you will have no problem in doing the other part of the game too. If you will be able to do that, doing MBA will be very fine. So that's the reason why doing MBA in like 11 or 12 turns, something like that, will be very advantageous and will give you a very good outcome. You can also do it in about 15 turns and be very safe, and you can play the game very well. So that's all about the games. Okay, so I think you might have understood almost everything. Uh, Before I think attempting the exam, I mean final competition, you can simply play the game at least once. Try doing that. um, when you are playing game in the first, second, third time, I don't think you will have very enough money to go search for the stock, bonds, and etc. thing. So it's highly recommended you go little faster in the starting phase. When you get reward or something, you might get reward in the seventh turn and eighth turn too. Do not get frightened when you are not getting rewards like the rewards or gift that you got in the fourth turn in this demo game. Okay, so do not get frightened about that. Just be relaxed, be calm down, and play the game. And after you get the rewards, you will have some money to like invest in different parts. By spreading the investment, you will reduce the risks and you will be able to get good returns. Further, in between the game, you need to have sufficient time to do some kind of speculation, to research, and to make investment and getting returns, and again doing the same thing again and again. It's also good practice to invest in the goods that were increasing the money. Okay, so the goods that I was recommending earlier were the publishing house, winery in Napa, 100 cow dairy farm. So among these three, I highly recommend you try to buy the two one. The third one will be bought automatically if you bought these two. So 100 cow dairy and the publishing house. If you at least these two, try publishing house is very easy. You can do that. And this 100 cow dairy farm. In if it's the competitive game, you should have the money to buy the 100 cow dairy farm. Okay. I mean, in this demo game, it's little difficult to buy those 100 cow dairy farm and winery in Napa because we played this game. Me and my other team members, we played this game so much that we were able to score a maximum of 400,000 point. I think that will be the maximum point that any one of us could have achieved if we played this game very fairly. Okay, so in your real competitive game too, that will if that was provided by IEO separately, then that will also have some maximum point that the student could have achieved if they play the game fairly. Okay, so for that part of the game, there will be I mean earning 100,000 point in this part of the game, in this demo game, by playing fairly could be equivalent to earning like 3 million or 5 million point in the competitive game fairly by playing fairly. So the points there could be increased by different rate because the prices there could be increasing by different way because the prices are getting changed there and here. The income will be different there and they could be different here too. So just do not get intimidated by the points that you are getting. Okay, just play the game very fairly, invest time properly, and in between, in the beginning and at the end, I think there will be very less time to provide high time for the research and for the high time for investment in stocks, bonds, and etc. things. Is useful focus in the middle part of the game, and the key strategy when you will be buying these things, when you will be buying this one any one of these, and when you will be purchasing the services which will increase your salary. Those are the very important part, and the other important part are like doing achievements and dreams and investing in any one or any or some of these things. Investment is good actually. Okay, that's not bad. Even if you are speculating that they will be increasing the money, if you go to assets and liabilities, you can check there. Okay, there is, you can see stock is actually providing me 8% gain. Okay, and the deposit also providing me some kind of gain. The bond is causing me loss. It's like 20, it's like 26% loss. That's a big loss, right? So you can check it. You can check the liabilities too. So this is how the game is being made. At the end of the part, what I will say is, if you are playing this game very fairly, um, the IEO says it is taking your ability to invest, your ability to make decision, making some retirement plans and etc. things. Actually, they are being checked. So that's what we think. So you just have to play a fair game. You just have to be able to manage your personal finance by achieving your dream, by making some investment, by increasing your savings and etc. things. You will obviously have a very good point. You might not be able to get the maximum point, but you will be able to get the good average score, and that will be like a very good point. But if you want to like slightly increase your point, you can simply be very cautious when you are doing your achievements, buying goods and services that will increase your income. And the last one is doing some investment in the financial markets. Do investment in the financial markets. Do not get nervous, and do not just keep all the money in the deposit. That will be a big loss. Do invest in the financial markets too. Invest in at least one or two houses. Buy the goods and services that will increase your income. These are the primary tips that I will give. And at last, also do the dreams and achievements. 1. Dreams and achievements. 2. Real estate at least 1 or 2. 3. Do buy some goods and services that will increase your income. And 4th is invest in the financial markets too. And last one is keep some amount in the banking too. If you are doing the MBA, the savings that you will have and the investment that you are doing will surely help you. Okay, that's all. Thank you and all the best.